So, hey, everybody, welcome to Learn Excel in 3 hours flat. What we're going to do today is learn Excel. So I'm going to show you all the different parts of Excel, how to move around in the spreadsheet, how to enter data. We'll talk about the autofill handle, formulas, functions, relative and absolute cell references, formatting, conditional formatting, charts, spark lines, printing tips. This isn't just a beginner's class, even though it's the first of 3 classes. So it's my introductory level class, but I want you to be able to come out of this with techniques that are going to be useful in the job. So these are not all beginning techniques. They're useful techniques and practical techniques and the stuff that you need on your day to day to get your work done, even if it's not a beginning tip. And as you know, I love giving all of the useful tips and tricks and these little hints and things that I have learned along the ways. So like I said, today is going to be 2 parts. So I'm going to start by actually showing you the material, kind of typical webinar style, but then we're going to shift gears and go into hands-on, and I'm going to make everybody who wants to a panelist so that you can actually show me your screen if you're having trouble. Then I'm going to step you through the same material a second time, because also when you're learning, just hearing something once makes sense at the time, but really we want it to stick. And so we're going to kind of do some of the content twice so that you can actually get that hands-on practice as well. So what I'm going to build in this demonstration is a monthly spreadsheet, so a monthly budget. And we're going to do it from January through June for a lot of our different household expenses. So, something that's universal that everybody can relate to. So I'm going to go ahead and type in monthly budget in cell A1. Then I'm going to go down. When I'm moving through a spreadsheet, if I hit the tab key, tab moves me across to the right. If I hit the enter key or the return key, it takes me down. So that's good to know when you're navigating through a spreadsheet. So I did monthly budget in A1. Now I'm going on to A2. And so I'm going to put in, our first thing that we need are the headers. So I'm going to put in expense right here. And that will be all of my expenses going down column A. And then in B, I'm going to start putting in my months. And so I've got January, then I can hit the tab key and put in February. But I'm going to start you right from now with my first of my cool tips and tricks. And that is that I do not need to go in and do January, February, March, April, May, and type them all out. There's a tool in your Excel called autofill handle. And that autofill handle is that little dot in the corner of the cell. So if I'm clicked on February, I see that little dot there. If I hold my cursor over the dot very carefully, it turns into a thin black plus sign. And that's not an accident. That thin black plus sign like that is the autofill handle tool. And when I aim my cursor very carefully and click and hold my mouse and then drag, it will look for a pattern and then repeat that pattern for me. So it saw February and it's like, oh, I know what comes after February, March. And so because I dragged from February all the way to column G, it went ahead and it autofilled across to June. Now, I want to actually go further with this and show you some more things that the autofill handle can do. So I opened up a second sheet down at the bottom. And if you don't have a sheet already available to you, you can click the plus sign to make another sheet. And the first thing I'm going to do is rename that sheet. I'm going to rename that sheet by double clicking on the name, and I'm going to call this autofill handle, so that later on, when you want to review this course, you'll be able to get to the autofill handle section on the spreadsheet. So let me do that and go zoom back in on my autofill handle. So here's my autofill handle lesson for you. So we already saw that if I just do January and I hold my cursor over the bottom corner, I can drag across and it'll go all the way. And if I go past December, it will just start over again with January, February, March. It's also nice to note that I don't even have to do the full month. If I just do Jan, it will recognize that and give me the abbreviated months. Pretty cool, right? Now, let's do Monday. Monday obviously is the first of a series. And so if I do that, now notice I can also not just go across, but I can also go down. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then it just starts over again. So I can go across, I can go down. It will also do my abbreviated days of the week. It recognizes MON and goes ahead and does my abbreviated months. Now that's cool, right? And if you think that was cool and you didn't know about the autofill handle, please go into the chat and let me know that you just learned something. That's really helpful for me to get that interactivity for everybody who is out there. Now, here's some other things the autofill handle can do. If I have a series of numbers like 1, 2, and I want to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, there are some of you who have spent your life going 3, 4, 5, 6 to like 150, right? You don't ever have to spend your life doing that again. Once you have, let me go ahead and undo. And I showed you the undo up here. Here's that drop down. So here it's saying, okay, here's the numbers that I've typed. I want to undo back to 3. I don't want to do anything past 3 anymore. When I autofill the numbers, if it's just one number and I do an autofill, it will just repeat that number going across 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. But if I highlight enough information that it creates a series, it will increment, it will figure out the increments and continue that increment onwards. So now there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So again, let me repeat that. I'm going to do my keyboard command of Command Z to undo that. It's the same as going up to undo, but I don't have to go reach for my mouse. So Command Z. So again, what I did is I highlighted enough information to make a series out of it, and then got my autofill handle and pulled, and it continued the increment. So another example, maybe I do 5 and then 10. If I highlight the 5 and the 10, and then grab the autofill handle and pull down, it will continue on in 5s. Now here's another trick with this. If I want something to autofill down, I also don't necessarily have to drag. If there's a column to the left that ends at a certain point, I can also autofill simply by double clicking on the autofill handle, and it will fill that information down for me. Now, in this case, all I had was the number 2, so it just autofilled 2s down. I didn't highlight a series first. Let's actually see if it would do that as a series. I'm going to do the 2, 4, and then try the autofill double click. And boom, there it is. It went ahead and did the increment for me. So there's another cool trick that you don't have to drag. You can just double click and it will match the ending point on the column on the left-hand side. But wait, there's more. In addition to increments, you can also autofill formulas, and we're going to do a lot of this. So if I say, let's turn this into our first formula. Now, I haven't really started talking about formulas yet. I'm getting ahead of myself, but I want to show you that if I do an equal sign, which is how you start a formula in Excel, and I want to, let's say I want to multiply these two, I can click in F6. Notice I'm not typing the number 5. I'm clicking in F6, and then I'm going to do multiplied by G6. So F6 times G6, and I hit enter. It gives me 10 because 5 times 2 is 10. And then I double click to autofill it down. This formula here, remember how I said that it only shows me 10, but up in the bar up here, I can see that this is F6 times G6. I'm going to hit escape to get out of this, because if I click right now, it's going to substitute that in my cell, and I didn't want that to happen. So I'm hitting escape to get back to the number that I was in. And now if I double click on any of these cells, I can see, I'm going to hit escape after each one of them, but I can see that the F and the G stayed F and G, but as I moved it down, it updated the row number. So it went from 6 to 7 to 8 to 9. And again, I want to repeat what I just said, that if I'm in a cell right here and I'm in it and my cursor's blinking inside it, I have to be careful not to click on other things, because it may replace the formula with whatever I've just clicked on. And so sometimes I have to hit escape to get out and then undo it to put it back again. But just seeing that the autofill handle does your formulas is also really helpful. And if I take that same formula that I have here, that's F6 times G6, and I autofill that one across in the same way, the F and G became G and H, and then became H and I. So the formulas will always update as you go. So all of this was all about the autofill handle. I am going to come back around and do this again when we get to the formulas section of the class. All right, everybody learned something? Hopefully you did. Again, feel free to give me feedback in the chat and let me know if you're seeing stuff that you like, because it's hard to teach to an empty room. So awesome. Good. Thanks, Francis. I'm glad that you learned something cool. Awesome, Susan. Awesome, Mary. Great. Cool. All right. So now that we have learned about the autofill handle, we are going to go back to our spreadsheet that now looks extremely empty and go ahead and continue building our monthly budget.